Welcome to U.S. Immigration Questions Answered Live. I'm immigration lawyer John Khosravi coming to you as on Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Pacific. Well, time changes almost a while, but right now it's 4 p.m. Pacific, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, various YouTube pages, X, also known as Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, which I need to turn on actually, and TikTok. We get a lot of questions on TikTok. If you want to get your question answered, crazy on TikTok, the questions, follow us on YouTube, U.S. Immigration Talk, or JQK Law to find it. And that's the wicked, more organized way to find you. Rafiq says hi to you as well. Omesh, thank you for joining. Again, the YouTube page is Immigration Talk, or also known as JQK Law. The system for getting questions there is more smoother than TikTok. So that's the way to go. Happy says, I lost my green card. Can I apply for U.S. citizenship with my green card? They've made it more flexible. Most of the time, it is okay to do that. Some offices may be strict if you lost it. Primarily, if you need to travel, you need to get the green card. So that's the thing. They've eased it up. So you'll probably be able to do it. But that's case specific. I can't tell you yes or no without reviewing the whole case, but most likely it'll be fine. Rafiq watching from Cali, local. I'm a fellow state member. Good to see you, Rafiq. Ibrahim, hi to you as well. And if you on Instagram as well, feel free to shoot your questions. Sharma, hi to you as well. Thank you so much. Okay. So user 36, I haven't heard anything about my wife from it was about a year on August 1st. So typically, I mean, I'm guessing you're doing a marriage case, I-130 petition. A year is not a long time frame, unfortunately, for that kind of case. Happy asks, how long does it take to replace green card? Unfortunately, 3 months to 2 years. It's really backed up sometimes. Sarowski said, if a petition was denied, will an employer know that your EAD is no longer valid? Depends on what kind of petition it was. Probably no. It's usually based on adjustment status case. I think that's how you would have got it. They wouldn't get per se unless their lawyer filed for it or if they're doing a I-485J maybe. So usually they wouldn't, but I can't recommend doing that. But that's that. Kobe asks, please, can you remarry your divorced wife and file for her and your children? It's not impossible, but it adds to the belief that your case may not be real, or like it depends on your factual background. So if like you got divorced, then your wife got a green card, you got a green card through another spouse, then divorce them and you're refiling for a new wife, that could look like you're doing marriage fraud. So we got to see what's going on and have explanations and preparation for the reason if it was a legitimate case, a legitimate. Sunshine says, do I need a reentry? I'm not sure what that, when I have my green card, some people say yes, so they say no. Your thoughts? A reentry permit is if you think you're going to be outside the U.S. for more than like a year. So if you know you're not going to be out that long, it's not needed. Sometimes people do leave, and then something happens back home. They get sick, or there's court work. They have to go to, all that kind of stuff. The lawsuits sometimes. And then or a parent gets sick, and they're stuck. So if you think you're going to be stuck for a while, you apply for the reentry permit, but usually it's not needed for most cases. Notice says, why is OPT delayed now? The students apply since February. I'm sorry, yeah, you could request premium processing. You have to pay more for it. And it's just always backed up. Saki says, how long they take? More time. Your question is not clear, Saki, but I-485 is just pending for however long they're going to take. Hi to you, Amanda. What is 214B? 214B is a denial for just their fear that you're going to come to U.S. and not stay here. And it's an easy way to deny because they don't really need to explain themselves more than that. So if you do have a 214B denial, sometimes it could be other reasons. But if they give you another reason, if there's another reason they denied you, they have to do a bunch of paperwork. So they're not going to bother doing that. They're just going to deny you on 214B. It's an easy way to deny. All right. Let's see. We have questions. Iwa says, my off on IR1 upgrade. Did the I-130 for child. Good. I just did a TikTok on this. So if you're green filing for spouse and minor kids, but you become a citizen, the kids fall out of that case. So you got to be mindful of that. Iwa says, is there any way to expedite I-130 for my kid as IR2? Or is there any, you contact the ACIs and say, hey, the parents' case is already approved. Please if it's an approved, please catch it up. That's something we do regularly. Rafiq says, I have 7 years and a half here. Do I have I-130 approved? Can I apply for pro in place and have 10-year residency? The pro in place is if you had 10-year residency already at the time of the filing. Plus, we need to see what other things. The exact rules are not clear. They haven't published it, but I don't know if it'll work in your case. But wait for the final rules to come out. They could work. Brian says, my family's immigrant case at the U.S. Embassy in Ghana for 6 months now. I was given a link to book my appointment and no appointments available. What is the way forward? Keep checking every day, multiple times a day. EWA, answer that. Destiny says, hi, thanks for the slide. You're welcome. Thanks for joining. I think I answered one of your questions recently, Destiny, on YouTube. Armin says, what's the process? What do I have to do if I want to leave the U.S.? Family, my husband and children are citizens. I'm a green card holder. I still have a valid travel permit. I'm not sure what your case is, Carmen. If you're a green card holder and you can file for citizenship, do that first. But if you're going to be out for more than a year, yeah, better to apply for a range permit for that. David says, cannot hear. Does anyone else having problems not hearing? Let me know if anyone else should be working. Rafiq, you're welcome. Destiny asks, does K-1 visa consider past child support earned, even if it's not on the taxes? Past tax returns don't matter. It's what your current income is, Destiny. So you have to show active, because they want to know that once a future spouse comes to the U.S., you're still making money. It's not past. It's about like right now in the immediate future when they come, can you support them? So that's what they're looking for. Cap says, pending asylum for 10 years, best way to get green card without marriage. There's no best ways, whatever you can get it. So that's not the way to look at it. User 36 says, how much longer do you think until we hear something from them? That's no one knows. Powell says, can you change visa to F1? It's not impossible. I'm not sure. You just change status. This, how much time does it take to get a receipt for asylum application? Sometimes they're backed up. It should take a week, but sometimes there's months. Destiny Falls, okay, thank you. So many visa chats from Morocco emphasize the tax returns only, so we get confused. You have to have the tax returns. That's mandatory no matter what. Even if you don't make income. If you have a legal reason for not filing taxes, then that's one thing. But taxes are generally part of the I-130 affidavit of support. They changed the name for the I-134, but because you're doing a K-1. But in general, you got to have taxes if you're supposed to file taxes. And let's go to Instagram, see if any questions over there. Okay, so let's go TikTok. Masa says, my brother is under 21, has a case. Can he come with my mom in evacuation? I'm not sure what evacuation means, but no what kind of case you have. So it's like, if it's a sibling case, you have an uncle who applied for your mom and your brother's on 21 and the case is current, and that maybe, but there's too many factors right there. I need to know to be able to answer that question. Destiny says, yeah, I was a student, didn't earn money, so no taxes. So Destiny, probably have to need to get a joint sponsor. Pilot asks, can you change F1? I answered that. User 8 says, to Mexico for pre-planned vacations before my oath ceremony. Yeah, you could travel before some money. One note is, if you guys ask the same question over again on TikTok, I'm going to mute you because it makes it hard to keep track and keep the flow going. I'm answering every question I could answer. So just please don't do that. For example, Pilot, he's asking the same thing. Luke says, hi, can I apply for work permit on my own, or a company has to do that? Well, it depends on what kind of work permit you're applying for. Some you can do on your own. Most of them you need an employer. For example, you could do an E2 investor visa and start your own business. And that'll be that. But there's some subcategories too, potentially. But usually an employer needs to file for you for an I-129. All right. Unfortunately, I have to mute somebody, and that ruins the order of what's going on here. Okay, let's try to start where we're from. Where were we at? Luis says, I've been waiting for 9 months for my interview in Juarez. How long is it taking? It depends on what kind of case you have and if your case is current. But for example, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, 9 to 12 months is the sweet spot right now. But that changes all the time. Afghan says, is it abnormal that the embassy says ready for 21 days without contacting me for interview? There's no normal in the embassy and how they update stuff there. How long does it take to apply back? I'm not sure what the question is for that. Is there a difference between joint and co-sponsor? I think means, yeah, that's correct. Joint sponsor and co-sponsor are essentially used interchangeably. It should be joint sponsor for the affidavit support I-864 form. Sarah asks, okay, Nana asks, can an international student apply for green card after graduation? They can apply for green card before or after graduation. It really depends on if you have a case or not. Fortunately, it seems like my account with Instagram is like frozen, so I'm not sure if you're hearing me, but that's the answer to that. Sarah asks, I'm a U.S. citizen and my husband is overseas. I filed the I-130 back in September 2023. Still nothing has been approved. When can I find out updates? Normal? Yeah, it's going to take, usually it takes about a year, sometimes faster. But if you have a receipt, go check it out. There's no normal time frames anymore, but a year is pretty much average. Sebi says, is F2A child now it's aged out? Can we adjustment of status? Well, we got to see the Child Status Protection Act filed. But if they're aged out, then and the Status Protection Act does. It's a big mess. So we got to see what's going on. I need more details on the case. I need to dive it with you. Now, an undergraduate international student, can I get or apply for green card just after finishing my degree? You don't have to finish your degree if you marry a U.S. citizen, for example, you can do it before you finish your degree. It depends on what category you could apply for. User 9 says, what is the class of admission for adjustment of status F1 entry by current pending asylum? What is the class of admission for adjustment status for an F1 entry? So a class of admission is F1. You came on an F1 student, that's your class of admission. Nadi says, can overstay visa get forgiveness? It depends if you fall within one of the exceptions, like married to U.S. citizen or something like that. Or if you overstay for less than 180 days and are doing an EB1 case, appointment-based case. Dior says, why did I get an RFE if I make over 50,000? Our USCIS will issue RFEs on the FAA support like all the time when they're incorrect. We just had one come right now where they made a bunch of money. So unfortunately, the FAA supports sometimes, most of the time they probably are correct, but we get them pretty frequently, almost like 25%, 1/4 of our cases. We'll get an RFE on the IA-64 nowadays. Everything is by the book. So we just resend the same paperwork. It's really obnoxious that they do that because when they do send the request for evidence, they're not specific as to what's wrong. So then we're like, what do we do wrong? We review a copy or file. There's nothing wrong with it. When we cases, they go to a scanning room and they scan it, upload it. Potentially the person scanning it forgot to put it in there, dropped their hand, or got ripped. Who knows? But this kind of inconsistency happens all the time, and it causes a lot of frustration. Shivek says, how do I report changes of address within amendment since I moved within 50 miles of my work location? Your employment-based lawyer should be able to answer that, but sometimes if you moved, you got to either update on the AR11 online, your USCIS account, or the employer needs to update it, but it depends on what's going on. But talk with your employer's attorney to look over the exact situation. Mandy says, hey there, I came on a US by K1 visa, got married and got the green card, but on the green card has my husband's last name instead of my birth last name. Do you think applying for 90 work? I don't recommend doing that because you probably have a 2-year green card, and doing I-90 is going to take so long. You might as well just keep it as it is and then do the I-75. Said that if you got married in the US, you may have just changed your name at the time of marriage. A lot of times our clients get married, change their name at marriage and don't realize it. And when we tell them, like, no, we didn't. And I look, like, you signed this document that said your name has changed. That's probably what happened here because we see that happen all the time. But filing an I-90 with a 2-year green card is just a waste of time and money. So if you want to update your name corrected, you could do an I-751 or just a citizenship time appropriate. If you have questions, just ask. Don't ask to ask a question. Afghan asking the same question over again. So I see that again. Unfortunately, I have to mute you. Prashana says, can a U.S. green card holder file I-130 adjustment of status I-75 to their spouse? Not together. There is a time lag. And I just did a video on this because today there's some good news for your situation. People that are green card holders file I-130 for spouses in the United States have to wait for a long time before they can file for I-485. The timelines on that got really, really better. So you won't be able to file it together, but almost close to a time. Rose says, I'm a registered nurse on asylum pending. If my hospital sponsor me, can I get my green card? Thanks. If you maintain independent legal status and you're out of status, essentially, most field offices will deny the case. Very few will approve, and it's kind of, but the government is not consistent in how they adjudicate these. After a year passes from USCIS form submission, how much time do you give for approval? There's different cases at different timelines, but there's no fixed times on these things. Destiny says, can you combine income 34 for daughter and mother live together? I don't deal with the I-134 as much because we avoid K1 visas because they're a waste of money and time. But in the IA-64, household members can be included with the IA-64A. Probably the same for I-134. I just do, like, for every 10 FAA supports I do, I may do one I-134 because it's just, we don't recommend doing these kind of complications you have come up. It's necessary process, the K1. So we avoid it. I never have to use a household member for that, but if it's available for the FAA support I-864, it's probably available for the I-134 as well. Okay, so Mala asks, if a green card parents in the U.S. receive citizenship, do their kids under 18 automatically become citizens without take if their kids are living with the parent in the U.S. and the parent naturalizes before they're 18, yes, the kids automatically become citizens, and they should file Form N-600 to get a certificate of citizenship and also apply for passports. Sharma, can you talk about your recent video about getting married to a green card holder? I just talked about that. Let me know if you caught it. I just posted that video earlier, like an hour ago, and I just talked. Alisha says, I want an expedite request for my Down syndrome daughter who is in Pakistan. What could be a chance of success? There's no chance of success. If you want a chance of success, most likely it's not going to work. But, you never know until you try. And that's about it. Me asks, we received a documentary qualified notice in NBC in June 2023. I have no appointments. Yeah, they're back. Me says, I emailed the embassy multiple times. I have an answer. What should I do? Pray. If you really want to file a lawsuit, then that may or may not work. You spend a lot of money. Who knows what will happen? Simone says, I filed out my citizenship application online on May 2024. Until now, I didn't get an appointment. Yeah, I mean, whenever they get a chance, I'll do it. Unfortunately, I got to mute somebody right now for asking the same question like 50 times. Why do I see cancellation? Oh, wow, we got a lot of questions today. Let me keep finding it. Unfortunately, I mute people. This like creates a habit because TikTok rearranges the question, so I lose track. But I got to mute you all because it's hard to keep track. It's really unfair to other people asking the same question like 50 times. Okay, let's try to find. Sorry, I'm gonna end up missing some people because of these people. All right. What is it? I already answered that. My interview for adjustment of status category was 120 days. No answer from USCIS. Yeah, that's unfortunately happens. Can I travel with advanced parole? That's intended for travel. Whether you can or not, I don't know enough about your background to say. I went for child over 21 permanent resident. What about it? What's the question? Cindy asked, my mom came in illegally 33 years ago. She filed for residency with the U.S. citizen son. Help, no response. I don't know. I got to review the case. 2014B, how long it takes to apply back? You can apply back immediately. Probably going to get denied, but there's no time limit on it. What is the waiting time for pardon on a waiver petition for resident monitor? 4 or 5 years. Gray Monitor says, how long does I-589 take? It could be 2 months. It could be 10 years. Kenny says, is it appropriate to answer yes to the question? I can't answer what's appropriate not to answer form. I'm not preparing your case. Max said, I applied for DACA in 2021 when they reopened. I was 17, but put on pause. My current lawful presence. If you have DACA before you're 17, before you're 18, you're not accruing a lawful presence. Binta says, for the CR1 visa, my tax transcripts are delayed. Can I use federal? Yeah, use it and tell them you're getting the tax transcripts later, unless they specifically want the tax transcripts. Luke said, okay, you're welcome. Rashada, schedule an interview and cancel interview the same day. What does that mean? They mess up. You're welcome. User 805. Goddess says, if I'm in alien petition, can I stay in the U.S. while my case pending? Not with the alien petition I-130, but the I. Yes. All right. So I think we caught up to the ones I missed. Let's go down a little bit. All right. I think we caught up. Kenny says, is it appropriate to that question? Can you travel on advanced parole on a dismissed misdemeanor? I wouldn't recommend it. Raj says, me and my daughter got EADs. Can my daughter get married? Will it affect her application? I don't know what kind of case you have, but if she does get married on a family case, as in she's a dependent, the marriage will destroy the case. So I don't recommend doing that. Base says, hi, I'm 20 years old. My father was a U.S. citizen before my birth. Can I apply for U.S. passport right away now? You have to show that your father lived in the United States for 5 years before you were born, 2 of which were after the age of 14. You have to document that. Matchak says, I applied for DACA. Answer that question. Period says, refuse status or administrative processing for 7 months. There's no fixed time, unfortunately. That could take forever. Andy says, why do I receive RFE cancellation? Because the government makes a mess sometimes. Kenny says, is it a pro? Oh, we can't answer. Scott answers the same question. Core says, case ready for review on June 14th. It just whenever they're going to get around to. I don't have time. My question answers. Okay, we're getting a lot of repeat questions again. Of course, says, do you receive a call from USCIS for OSIS? Typically, they'll send it by mail or the online account will be updated. Rarely they'll call, even though they're not supposed to. Joel says, hello, sir. I have sent my form I-485, but still don't hear. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't send your case. I don't know how long you sent it. I don't know if you sent the right place. If you pay the right amount of money, I can't answer that. Okay, let's go to Instagram really quick. Let's see. Ali says, we answer that. Uto says, for marriage green card, if I have payment plan for IRS, so I need to pay it off before applying for my green card. What was it? There was I read recently. I was about that. I can't remember. You may have to. I can't remember the exact rules for that. Sorry, I have to deal with that. It's about 3 months ago. I can't remember what the exact rule was about back pay. Mala says, do children under 18 living in the U.S. with the green card parents require both parents to receive their citizenship before they can file? No, just one. Good to see you, Bruce Farney. Moose says, I have a U.S. passport. Do I still need naturalization certificate? It's better that you get it. Bruce asks, can married child of a U.S. citizen adjust their status? Well, it depends on if you qualify for adjustment of status. Your case is current. You have you don't have bad background, so it's case specific. Kevin says, out of the oath ceremony on my 2021, they have not contacted me since. What I do, we got to see why they would do such a thing. If it was valid, if 3 years have passed and you just let it go, it's very questionable. Why? So the whole situation is kind of shady. I don't know. We got to see what's going on. Sherry says they refused my husband's entry on moral turpitude charge. It turned out to be a speeding ticket. I got to see what's going on. I'm sorry to hear that. Kevin says, I was taken out of the oath to answer that. If he has history, a protective order, can he get American citizenship as a green card? We got to see what the protective order was about. That on its own is not a problem, but if there's, history of abuse and something like that, maybe. Taro says, how long does it take for naturalization? How did you get back results? There's no timelines. Insta it take for answer to get approved? There's no timelines. 9 months, a year, 2 weeks. It's all over the place. So 2 months. How long? Okay, I won't be answering any questions related to timelines. Just to give you all a heads up. Sherry says they won't reconsider even after we send the letter from New Zealand police. We have to see what's going on with their case, Sherry. I'm sorry to hear that. User 77 says, why is the F4 moving so slowly on the visa bulletin? Because there's just too many people applying for that category and they're backed up. Taro says, how long does it take for naturalization application? We don't answer that question. We have a lot of timeline questions or repeat questions I got to go through. Can an unemployed person living on government assistance file to sponsor a green card with co-sponsor? File to sponsor green card co-sponsor. Yeah, I mean, if you're the petitioner, it doesn't matter if you're living on assistance, your co-sponsor fixes it up. Pilot says, how long is it going to take to get a work permit when I file for I-130? I-130 does not lead to a work permit. It's never going to happen. You got to file for adjustment of status, some other application. And that could be anywhere, you do those, anywhere from 2 months to 2 years. 9 months probably. My brother was rejected for tourist visa twice. I want to apply again. Any suggestions? Not really. Sherry says, I've been here 20 years and married 16. He was initially here on work visa and we met. I don't know, Sherry. It's not, I got to get to know you and let's go review the documents and stuff like that. G Singh says, Canadian citizen, USC sibling. How can I move to USA? Your sibling's not going to be able to do for you in 15, 20 years. You have to find an independent way to move to the US. You're Canadian. You potentially do a TN visa, depending on what job you have and what job you find in the US. The E2 visa, start a small business. We handle those TNs and E visas all the time. It's one of our focuses. Kevin says, I'll answer that question. They said my background check was not ready. I don't know, Kevin. That's a weird situation. Do your own background check and see what comes up. Paranoid humanoid, one regulars. What major immigration change do you think will 2025? I don't think major ones. What they just do is they make everything a little more difficult. Like they require 2 approvals for something, and that slows the whole system down. Or they shut down certain embassies for certain types of visa. So it's more like legal stuff they tweak that like the average person would understand, but like immigration lawyers are like, oh, that's very sneaky what they did. So it's behind the scenes tweaks of stuff that the administration does for the most part. Ben says, hello, sir. Please, I really need last year, June MEC. I don't know what to tell you about scheduling it. It's not up to me. Either way, it says, is there a visa to bring child with pending I-130 and child will wait I-130 approval in the U.S., child 7 years old? No, they had some stuff, but it's for like they don't work anymore. So I mean, you could request humanitarian parole. I'm probably not going to work. You could request a tourist visa. Probably not going to work, but you could give both a shot. Or do expedite requests. Again, these are probably not going to work, but you could try everything. Maybe one of them will happen. Lovarat says, is it too late to ask questions? Online marriage service legit for a spouse visa? I'm abroad now. I'm not sure what online marriage service is. It's a generic term. But if you want a legitimate attorney, contact us. I mean, first download our guide. We have a guide. I forgot to talk about it most on the show. Go to marriageimmigrationlaw.com. We have a 40+ page guide on the marriage immigration process. www.marriageimmigrationlaw.com. And then just schedule a consultation with us. New York says, does USCIS have jurisdiction over I-485's arriving alien removal proceedings? I think they do. We don't really deal with those cases, but there's a unique circumstance. If you're an alien who was paroled in and you have an I-130 pending, it's I-130 goes to the jurisdiction there. But the I-130 jurisdiction is with USCIS. The I-485, you could close the USCIS or do it with the judge, depending on the situation. We don't handle court cases, so it's not my specialty. DJ says, how long does it take to make an interview for a green card? It's up to them. Do you receive a call for you? Or answer that question. I-2 for form. There's no question there. Just the name of a form. Do I need a copy of my I-485 receipt notice to travel my advance parole? No. Can we talk? Schedule a consult. Will says, girlfriend here with no papers, but was processed at the border. What can happen if we marry? We got paroled in or not, and know how the situation was. HA says, can an extension of stay for medical treatment hurt my approved immigrant petition? I don't know. I got to see what kind of petition you have, if you file adjustment or not, and what you're saying in your request for stay, how you earn money to support yourself. We got to see what's going on with all that kind of stuff. Too much analysis that has to be done privately. Please, sir, give me a WhatsApp number. We don't communicate on WhatsApp with non-clients, so you got to go to our website, jqqlaw.com/contact. And if we schedule a consultation, we do a WhatsApp video, but we don't communicate by text and stuff, even by phone with non-clients. You could call the office and take a message, or we'll email you back. But again, we're really busy. When it comes to talking with a lawyer, you got to be a client for us to talk with you about it. Can I get information on how long the I-240 is going to take? 2 months to 2 years. We got a lot of repeat questions I got to go through. My hubby got his work permit in less than 3 months, marriage-based case. Yeah, we just got adjustment case approved in 10 weeks. It's very inconsistent. I think the work permit timelines are going to get better now that they're charging for work permits. So that's a good thing right there. I mean, it costs a lot more. It costs $230 more, but it's coming faster. Why are they refusing to clarify a refusal of misrepresentation? We asked multiple times. Yeah, that sucks when they do that. That's just the government. My dad applied for my brother. He was single. Now he's married, 2 kids. We add the kids. Well, your category changes potentially from F2B or F1 to F3, and the kids will be added when the end process starts for constant processing. Kevin says, I was taking the answer that question. Captured series. Can I take my husband's last name and use my current last name as my middle name when filing for adjustment? Only if you legally change your name. It's not that you willy-nilly do that. Can we use an online marriage service to CR1 visa? I'm not sure what you mean by online marriage service. Laval Varat. Carl says, case ready for review. I don't know about timelines. It's just going to be a problem. Can I call or text you? Go to our website, jqqlaw.com/contact, and then you can schedule a private consultation, girls only. Timur says, I'm filing N400 for myself. My dispo information needs to be filled. My dispose. I don't know what dispose information is. Why is the F4 moving so slowly? Yes, backed up. Will I-618 waiver go any fast? Potentially, with the parole in place program that President Biden put in, a lot of people that have I-601A waivers will no longer need the waiver. So hopefully they'll cancel it and it'll open up a lot of space for the people who do need to do I-601A. But Crystal Perry, potentially you fall within the parole place program, so you don't even need to do I-601A. We got to see. I don't know your case, but that might be, if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you've been here for 10 years, that may be an option. That's happened to me. Okay. Should my spouse's information be filled in N400? On the online version, it doesn't really come up, but we do anyways, because they're going to be looking to see if your marriage was appropriate, all that kind of stuff. On the paper base, yeah. Balima, case was denied because of my mother-in-law. What to do? I'm not sure what that means. Is it normal for consular officers to refuse to give clarification will from resignation? It's expect. So a lot of times people will be like, oh, immigration case is easy. You just file the paperwork. I saw someone post on a Facebook group today. Every time we file an immigration case, we never really know what's going to happen, how long it's going to take, what mistakes they're going to make, what information they're going to share, what documents we send them, and they say we don't have them. It's always different. So every case is different. And that's why like people get frustrated. I think why to have a lawyer is because every time we go on the field with a case, it's like a football game. We never know what's going to happen on the football field, the basketball field, soccer field. You imagine you kick a ball in a soccer field, there's only so many ways. Each soccer game is totally different. And that's how it is with immigration as well. You take out-of-state clients, what are the average attorney fees? Well, Will, there's so many different types of cases. There's no average. And we do cases from everywhere in the country. Everything is done by mail and email and stuff, so our location doesn't matter. Does an employer change under TN visa? Can it be done in 2 weeks of pre-and processing? It's not impossible, but probably not. Me and my wife are on a green card while filing N400. Should I file for my wife's info? If it allows you on the online N400, then do it. Bucky says, can you get a green card if your husband refuses to show up for interview? Maybe. I mean, if there's abuse involved, you could potentially file a VAWA claim. Zindadi says, how do you with I-1 visa? Do you want to apply for I-765 work permit? If you want to, it's up to you. Yusef says, what are the options to obtain green card if you live here without no status? They're very limited. I got to see if an exception applies for you, but it's too big a conversation to have here. It's me, dog says, I put 2 applications online and with lawyer is effect on my interview date. I'm not sure what you mean have 2 applications online with lawyer. I'm not sure I have 2 It doesn't make any sense. User says, want to bring my biological mother to the U.S., but my dad's ex-wife named my birth certificate instead. That's going to be a problem. MS says, for H-1B, can I work for other employers? What if I engage an independent contractor? No, H-1B is for a specific job with an employer. You can do part-time H-1B filings for other employers, but you need to apply to the government for that. And independent contractor self-employment is not permitted on H-1B like that. Shady says, we got only a couple minutes left. Let me go to YouTube and see if people have questions on YouTube. Does your firm have payment plan? We do, but it depends on the case and what your background is. So we do a case-by-case specific if it's warranted, and if it's, if it's like a huge case and like we're going to be able to file it within a month, it's, it just depends, Destiny. We have Consultation, see what the situation is and what kind of payment plans are possible. So it's not that we don't do them, but it's case-specific. Negozia says, what state are you? And I'm in California, but our location doesn't for any of our cases that we do. Is F4 visa PD now November 20? I don't know. Check out the visa bulletin. Like Utah online marriage. Yeah, you got to see each other after you do the online marriage. That's possible. HA says, can afford Can't afford treatment U.S. Can't adjustment of PD currents. I can't tell you what to do about that. I don't know your case enough. Ask about. I got to see your filing before I could do this. You can't do this. It's like calling a doctor and say, can I take this medication, ibuprofen? Most people can take ibuprofen, Tylenol, aspirin, but some people they take it, they could die. So I can't tell someone to go take an aspirin because I don't know what's going on. Even though the aspirin is pretty benign, they say medications. Alex says, is it safe to travel to Florida vacation with no status? I don't recommend it. Stream said, I can't tell you what's safe or not. Is it safe to get in a car? These are the kind of, it's really the same kind of thing. Stream says, how long should I wait to contact the immigration after filing? I don't know what kind of situation it is. How come I-175 is taking too long to be approved? I'm not sure what I-175 is, but these things take a while. The government's backed up. All right, I'll take one or two more questions and we'll call it a day. Do I need a lawyer for an affirmative asylum case? It's strongly recommended to do that. Booney asks, how can I get a date for my asylum? They're just back to sue them. Adam says, the only option for I-161 beneficiaries outside the U.S. to wait? That's probably. Cake says, if you get an H-1B visa and you get a non-immigrant visa waiver approved, you come here in the meantime. But it's like there's loopholes. They're not loopholes, exceptions, but they're complex. Cake says, can my brother land in Brazil without military draft duty as a dual citizen? I don't know about Brazil laws about that. Do immigrant officers request updated financial documents by sponsor at I-485 interviews? They're supposed to, but they typically don't. And they typically don't do interviews around anyways. Thank you, Mr. Kostrov. You're welcome. You're the only lawyer I've seen who mentions students on your channel. God bless you. Thank you so much. Good night. Alex says, I thought they blocked the SB 1718. I don't follow the rules, the regulation bills. Shady says, can my petitioner for adjustment of status with the B1B2 visa, which is valid for 5 years multi-entry? Come with the intent to adjust status. If you're here, you can change your mind, adjust status. It may be possible. It's not the petitioner, it's the applicant, but we got to see what the situation is. I'm under a TN visa. What is the time frame from change to new employer? If you do pre-em processing, it could be pretty fast, but you may have case issues where, or if it happens, you might get denied. So there's no realistic time frame. It's gonna happen pretty fast if we want to pay pre-em processing. But for example, we need the new employer to give us a certain piece of paperwork. Some employers will give it to us in a week. Some take 6 months to give us paperwork. So when you talk about timelines, like we have marriage green card cases where we need a birth certificate translated. And the client says, we'll get it to you tomorrow. 4 months go by and they still don't have a translation. So how long is realistic time frames? It's always different for 15 years. And I'm well known in the immigration community as an immigration lawyer. I train other immigration lawyers on this stuff. I talk about this stuff constantly. If you go look online, every case is different. It's like fingerprints. You never know how it's going to come out. It's just our job to keep an eye for it and try to fight it if it's getting too out of control. But a lot of these questions, the average doesn't make a difference. You just got to see what's going on in your case. And if you got to do it, you got to do it. If you got to change it. Now, if you're doing TN, it's probably much faster and easier to leave and go if your case is appropriate than even filing for change of status because it's too expensive to do that anyways. But you may have an exception where you need to, do change of status. But usually TN is so cheap and easy to go at the border if you have a good case that it's like, why would you just buy a ticket and go and come back? Okay, one more question. Insurance just status? Not right now. If Trump comes, maybe. Is there any exception for denial due to false claim of citizenship? Oh, we shouldn't have filed in the first place. That existed. Very few exceptions. Like if there's one weird exception, like if you thought you were a citizen because your paperwork based on your parents, but you didn't know. If you're a asylee and potentially a waiver, but very few. And my grandmother's green card expired. Should we do I-90 instead of SB1? I got to talk with your grandma about what's going on there. So that's like a 20-minute conversation about that one. Can I request expedite my mother I-130 petition? You request it. If they approve, you have good reason, they prove it. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the very last question. Let's see. My wife and I just got married. She is here on a B2. How do we start the process for work? Hi, Tina. We focus, and I can't say specialize, but essentially specialize on their kind of case. Please download our guide, Tina Lynn, at marriageimmigrationlaw.com, and then either join the live webinar that you could get from that, or schedule a private consultation and we could talk about it. If you fill out your phone number on marriageimmigrationlaw.com, we typically will call you if you have a U.S. number and have a quick chat anyways. So Tina Lynn, just hit us up and we'll take it from there. Having said that, thank you everyone for joining. It was a wonderful Tuesday session. We got questions on. Okay, so that's it. God bless. Be safe. First general education session is over. We'll be back next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific. But hey, if you follow us, especially on TikTok and YouTube, we do pop-up lives like this. We ask questions. Also, if you download the guide, marriageimmigrationlaw.com, there's a webinar sequence that comes in after a marriage case and stuff where you could join. And if you leave your phone number, it's a U.S. number. If we can call you really quick, talk to you as well. Having said that, God be safe. We'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.